Hello there, Michelle G here, Bendy Stitchy. Today is Saturday the 20th of July, and my pronouns are she, her, and this is my channel about cross stitch. So we are here to talk about the things that I stitch. I did finish a book, so I'll talk about that at the end, and then my plans, because I have definitely more plans to talk about than progress to show, so more plans than progress. Okay, so fully finished items. I didn't fully finish anything. Finishes, I don't have like a finish, but I have what I call an FFN, a finish for now. And that is in my D's 20 Stitches 2024 Stitch for Pride sampler. I finished the July portion, and the artist is Jeffrey Gibson. He is an Indigenous American artist who is also gay. And this is my spot sampler as it is. This is on 40 count Verdal in the colorway Determination from Jessie at Mislaid Pages. Oh, that is my skin color too. Interesting. Squirrel. But I did not get the floss pack from Jazz, so I missed out on that. So I've been choosing my own colors, but this is the July portion. Let me low tech zoom in here. So that's the July portion right there, based on Jeffrey Gibson, and I love what Dee did with it. Dee charted it to say time will tell, and I definitely didn't look at it matching my fingernails. I definitely didn't notice that it said time will tell until I did my learning about Jeffrey Gibson, because he uses this technique a lot. And the floss that I used on this month is Quinn from Cottage Garden Threads. So it's not exactly the same as Jazz's, but it's Quinn from Cottage Garden Threads. And then the yellow is from the June portion, which was Frida Kahlo. The yellow is Marigold from Almond M&M's. And I'm obsessed with the way that the yellow is scattered through that. That is not my idea. That I took directly from Helen, the Ditty Stitcher. That's how she scattered her yellow. And I said, can I just steal that? And she said, sure, of course. So that's that. And here is where we are. And Dee gave a little sneak peek on his Instagram of August. And it looks like it goes like here-ish. Like maybe we're going up above. Or like a little to the side and above. Like where my needle minder is, basically. And it looks like a cactus. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, 40 count Verdal. I love 40 count Verdal. And I love this. It's over halfway done now. It's just making me happier and happier all the time. It's looking so good. I'm obsessed with it. And these are my flosses. So that was like 1,148 stitches according to my Notion app. 1,148 stitches. I spent one day on that, but it was a Sunday, so I stitched all day. It's been hot here in Eugene. I'm in Eugene, Oregon, and it's been so hot for the Pacific Northwest. Like a lot of days are getting up to the 90s. Like today's supposed to be 95. So we're probably going to go mall walk like good old people do. But then because I finished off 2 colors on that sampler, I'm also stitching this. This is Quaker Coronet, and it is a gift chart, a free chart from Queenstown Sampler Designs. And I don't know if you can really tell here without me showing too much of the pattern. Oh, that's a lot of the pattern. I'm calling this my tail end project. So every time I'm finishing off the tails of a project, rather than putting them back, like this is Heather's Saxolotl. So when I was stitching this that I still haven't sent, still have not sent that. When I was stitching that I still hadn't sent, rather than winding the flosses back on the spools, I just used the ends of the flosses to stitch this little flower. And then when I was doing my peanut butter and jelly ATC last month, I stitched most of this swan with the PB&J ATC. And then you can see the beak is done with Almond M&M's Marigold, and that doodad there is done with Cottage Garden Threads Quinn. So I'm slowly filling this in rather than putting tails on it. It hasn't gotten a lot of it hasn't gotten a lot of progress because when I'm stitching on my Tour de France sampler, 2 years of tours bell pull, which is what I've been stitching on mostly this week, I do put those tail ends back because I need those flosses to last for the next 2 years. So I do put those tail ends back rather than filling in this whole thing. Yeah. And speaking of that, this is what I worked on most of this past week. So I only stitched 4 days this past week, but 3 of them I spent on this. So if this is your first time here, welcome. And this is going to be my 2 years of tour bell pull. This is a skinny quarter. So it's a yard. It's the length of a, this has got to be more than a yard, right? Anyway, it's the length of a full yard of fabric, but it's cut. Usually we get a fat quarter. So like if you take the square of fabric and you cut it in half down the middle, usually you get a fat quarter and it's each of those halves. But if you take the square of fabric and you cut it in fourths up and down, lengthwise, then you get a skinny quarter. So I know Liz at StitchyBox has some skinny quarters right now of some fiber on a whim. Really beautiful, like a caramel color. I don't know. But anyway, so I don't know which ones I put in since the last video, but yesterday I put in 114 stitches on this and then frogged 155. So I got mad and I put it down. But you can see, or you can't see, if you're a cycling fan, you probably picked out right away that this section is the Giro d'Italia because the winner's jersey is pink, and this section is the Tour de France because the winner section is yellow. So this is stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I haven't done the bottom row, but today was stage 20, so this is 18, 19, 20, 21. I just keep repeating this. The pattern that I'm using is Birdie. It's Veerland Sisters 1 Birdie. So, from StitchyBox. Let me just pull it up. Because Birdie has exactly 21 motifs on it. And here she is. Can I not zoom in? Anyway, there she is. She has exactly 21 motifs on her. And I'm calling her a her because her name is Birdie. And the Grand Tours have exactly 21 stages. So every stage, I change the motif to mimic the jersey of the stage winner. So I don't remember what stage I showed last time, but let me see. I could look. Hold on. I thought I was organized. You know, you think you're organized, and then it turns out maybe you're not as organized as you think you are, but still, here we are. So last time I was only halfway through this stage. So this stage, Biniam Girmay of Intermarché Wanty Gobert, he won this stage. But you can see, like, he won this stage, and this stage. Same guy. And then in these 2 stages, he was wearing the green jersey, the points leader. So Biniam Girmay won that stage. I think that's 6. I don't know what stage that is. Anyway. And then Jesper Philipsen won this stage, and this stage. Same guy. And then Tadej Pogačar won this stage and this stage. So 14, 15. And then Tadej Pogačar also won 19 and 20 here. So he also won this one, stage 4. So Tadej Pogačar won 5 stages in the Tour de France this year. He's the first person to do that in decades. He won 6 stages in the Giro d'Italia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's one up here that I haven't stitched yet. So he's winning a lot. He's gonna win. He won the Giro. He's gonna probably win the Tour. I don't want to put his name on there yet. But so I just have 18, 19, and 20 to stitch, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to stitch 21 and put the winner's name in. And then I was thinking, because this is my passion project right now, if you can't, maybe I should use this for anyway, we'll come back to it. This is my passion project right now, if you couldn't tell. I don't like how much space I left in between here. I'm a little bit unhappy with myself for having left that much space. So there's 4 jersey winners in each Grand Tour. One person wins the main race, right? So they win the pink jersey or the yellow jersey, or in La Volta a España, the red jersey. They win the main race. And then There's also a Best Young Rider, which is, I think, for riders under the age of 23. Don't quote me on that. And then there's a King of the Mountains jersey, where that's the person who gets the most points for going over mountaintops first or in the highest place. And then there's the points jersey, which is the best sprinter. So under here, I was thinking, because Tadej Pogacar won the whole race, in the Giro d'Italia this year, he also won the mountain. So that's the, I think that's the Mayo Azule. I forgot what they called it. Maglia Azzurra. I'm mixing my languages. So Tadej Pogacar won the blue jersey for the King of the Mountains. And then Jonathan Milian won the Maglia Ciclamino, which is the Cyclamen jersey. It's, you can see in this, he won this stage right here. He's from Team Lidl Trek. And I outlined that motif in magenta. I have lost 3/4 of my viewers now. Anyway, and then someone else won, another Italian guy won the youngest rider, which is a white jersey. So I was thinking I could put like T. Pogacar, J. Milan, and then the other guy underneath there, and that would take up some of that space. We'll see though. I'll figure it out. That's more work, but it's also like those guys also won the tour. So yes, the overall leader won the tour overall, but I think I might also want to recognize the other. We'll see. Also, I just left too much space there, and I'm unhappy with how much space I left. But so that's my only. You can tell I'm obsessed with it. So plans. I want to keep working on my bell pull. I want to work on Christmas in July, which is for my friend Diana. It is Kismet. Her birthday is in December, but it's between Christmas and New Year's, so it's hard to organize a sale. So Christmas in July is the way that we celebrate Diana in another part of the year. Her half birthday. So this is my only Christmas whip. It is, what is it? It's called Christmas Basket. It took me a minute. It's called Christmas Basket. It's from Fox and Rabbit. It was one of their Patreon charts. I only worked on it one day on February 25th. I put in 152 stitches, and I don't even think... Did I even upload a picture? I did. So here is my blazing start on this. Are you ready? Are you ready? That's how far I got. It's 152 stitches. I couldn't remember if I was going to put the alphabet in, but apparently I am, because the alphabet goes in this block right here. So this is on a piece of 32 count linen, I'm pretty sure, from Fox and Rabbit that Bren dyed for Karen and I. And yeah, that's for that. So that's my Christmas in July. It's only had one day of work on it. I'd like to get that done. Once my Tour de France sampler is done, then I can work on Christmas in July and Pick a Whip. And those are my two ones that I want to get to. Now, Pick a Whip, this is by Marjorie Maid. So let's recap. So Marjorie Maid Stitches is the brains behind Pick a Whip. And the first Pick a Whip of July, she releases a prompt every fortnight. And the first Pick a Whip in July was stitch on a project with a bug or insect. Now, I only have one project with a bug on it, and it is, again, I'm going in, this is my Notion app, so these are my in progress, and this is how I can pull up a picture really easily without having to search back date, because I also haven't worked on this since February. So this is Autumn Night Garden, and you can see right here it has a butterfly on it. I worked on it on February 25th. I got 83 stitches into this, but if you click on the date, I always upload a picture. So look at that start. Woo woo. So I'd like to get a little more progress on that. I'll probably put, and this is what it looks like overall. Like, it's beautiful. This is a Tiny Modernist Patreon chart. Incidentally, Tiny Modernist just opened up a shop as part of her Patreon. So Patreon allows us to also host a shop on there where we can sell PDFs, or, you know, you can really sell anything, I think. But Cheryl opened up a shop on her Patreon, and she has all of her old Patreon exclusive charts on there as a PDF. So if you join now her Patreon, this was like last November's chart or something like that. But you could go to the shop and you could buy this, even though it wasn't included in your... Like, she takes hers down after a month or so. Anyway, You can see I just started on the double border down in the corner. 83 stitches is like nothing. I'm stitching this in DMC on 40 count Murky from Picture This Plus. So I'd like to get some more stitches in on that. That would be nice. And then my last plan, last but not least, pick a whip, was going to be, so stitch on a project that is sentimental to you is the prompt. And for that project, I was going to do my retreat spot sampler, because if you haven't seen this before, this is on a big old piece of fabric. This is on a fat quarter, I think, of fabric. And this is, I call it my retreat spot sampler, because, you know, you go to a retreat, and sometimes like retreats like Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, they're project-based retreats or designer-based retreats, so you get a project. Or like Spring Fling, the retreat is based around a project. Flosstube at Sea, there were projects, 4 projects. Acorns and Threads 25th anniversary, 4 projects. Sometimes you go to a retreat and there's a project that you can buy that's part of the retreat, but it's not like included. So like my Stitch North projects for 23 and 24, those were projects that I purchased at the retreat, but not included. Anyway, rather than stitch the entire project from every retreat, which I would never have time to do, I thought, what if I take a motif off of every retreat project from every retreat that I've been to, and I make my own chaotic, amazing retreat spot sampler? And that all started with that whale in the middle. The whale in the middle is from Lindy Stitch's project from Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2022, and I stitched it on a piece of fabric from Jody, who is Cedar River linen, when she was just trying out her fabric dyeing. So I just stitched the whale, and just stitched the whale. That whale is freaking 1,200 plus stitches. I just stitched the whale. But then I thought, that was great. Let me keep doing that. So I basted that fabric onto the retreat spot sampler, and voila, a project is born. So most of the other ones I've just been, incidentally, my fabric for the whole thing is also a Cedar River linen from Jody. But most of the things I've just been adding directly to the linen. But you can see up here, Spring Fling 2023. I put that on a piece of Aida that I bought at Stitch North 2023, because the Megans and I shared that. We shared our projects and we shared that piece of Aida. So it was important to me to put it on there. And I got it here, Stitch North 2023. But then some of these are also compilations. So like the Pinwist ones, this one, Pinwist 23, it's Ink Circles is that one. And then the Acorn is from Satsuma Street. And then way up in the top corner, over here, but way up high, is Pinwist 2020. And those 2 motifs are motifs that I picked out and glumped together. From the Acorn is from Paulette Stewart's piece from Pinwist 2020, and the Moth and the Flower is from Beth Twist's piece from 2020. So I was going to do that as my sentimental piece. But then I thought, talking about this thingy here, this bell pull, I was getting pretty sentimental about that bell pull. So I don't know. I think the retreat piece still qualifies more as sentimental than the bell pull. I don't really have that many more motifs to add to my retreat piece, so I could have it like caught up if I just add, I think, 1 or 2 more motifs. So that's a consideration. We'll see. Let me know in the comments. Is the bell pull, is the Tour de France one sentimental, or am I just excited about that and the retreat one is sentimental? Because honestly, looking through my whips, I'm not sentimental about very many of my projects. I'm not. I like them, but I'm not sentimental. So let me know what you think. I don't know. No purchases this week. So no purchases, no happy mail. That's it for my stitching. The next thing we'll talk about are the auctions, because last week I talked about auctions and then I didn't put them up. But I want you all to know that I took pictures before this video, and so while this video is saving, after I edit it, I will put the auctions up on my Patreon. If you're new here, I'll just recap it again. I do auctions usually at least twice a month for Restore Together Foundation for Care, and that's a charity that some of my friends and coworkers run, and they go to the Dominican Republic every January and perform surgeries down there. So not only do they go and do surgeries, but they also teach the local surgeons any new techniques, or so they're teaching too. So this right here is one of the physician's assistants. This is one of our surgeons. Where are they? They're always in the back because they're tall. I don't see. This is my old boss. This is another one of our physician's assistants. So they do really cool. They do really great work. And I'll link this website below. It's definitely worth exploring. There's some pictures of them in the OR. This is the place where they stay. They see so many people in clinic too. They don't just do surgeries. And this is kind of what they do. This is their, anyway, it's cool. I'm really glad to support it. And at least twice a month I do auctions. So this week we'll do 4 auctions, and they're all Christmas in July themed. I went through these last time, but I'm going to just go through them again because I actually took pictures. This is actually a little pin making kit. So I'm trying to keep the auctions more affordable. This is a pin making kit from Beth Twist, and this was a class that I signed up for at the Jingle Ball last year, and I never did the class. I never made the pin. So there's stuff in here to make 2 pins. There's the cork to put them in, and then there's B7000 to glue them together. And I think there's a video. I don't know if I still have access to the video, but putting this together is kind of a no-brainer. But I know there's tutorials on the YouTubes. That's one auction. That's going to be a small one because some of these get kind of expensive. The next auction is for this chart. This is Park Hopper Bart, Winter Welcome. It comes with a piece of Fortnite fabrics, 32 count linen, and then all the flosses you need. So there's 2 skeins of DMC Etoile, which is the white and the black. And then there's 3 skeins of Sullivan's cotton, which is the red, the brown, and the orange. So that's all in there. And then I'm sending this. This is a Forbidden Fiber Co. You've got a ruler and a floss holder at the bottom. You won't need that many holes, but it's a little wood piece. Needle minder is a little hedgehog. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything other than it's cute. And then I'm also sending this. You get 2 floss holders. This is like the floss holder bundle. So this is from my friend Karina at Bags Plus, and this is a Floss Buddy. So this is actually a 2-project Floss Buddy, unless you have a ton of flosses. So in here, you put I'm holding it upside down. In here, you put your flosses on bobbins. And then over here, you have the same spaces. So like if you have a floss here and you have a little extra, you wind it up here and set it on the felt. Let me show you what this is the silk that I frogged out of my Tour de France piece. Incidentally, if you ever have to frog Stitch Me silk, it frogs really well. But so you can stick it right there on the felt and it sticks. And then there's this piece of plastic that'll cover it and keep it there because you also have felt on the other side and floss holders on the other side. So this is from Karina at Bags Plus, and it goes with, because I think this snowman is these snowmans, right? This one is that one. So those go together. Let me stick this inside here so that I keep it together. Okay. So that's the first 2 auctions. The next auction is, I was not going to get rid of this, y'all. I love this project sleeve. It's a R2D2 jumper. It's a R2D2 holiday jumper. But this is the perfect project to put it with. This is Cozy Winter Wishes by Deanna from Darling and Whimsy Designs. So cute little jumpers. Of course, it goes with the R2D2 jumper. You get this. Needle minder is from Forbidden Fiber Co. It doesn't go with the thing other than it's a llama, and I think you can knit with llama. I don't know. And then this is kitted up with Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Buttercream. This is a 16 count Aida, which is the called for. And then it has the 4 called for DMCs, which are really beautiful on this yellow. Yep. So that's that kit. That's kit number 2. Let me put it away. So I take care of your stuff. It's not mine anymore. Once it goes up for auction, it's not mine anymore. It's yours. So that's kit number 2. And then kit number 3 comes in a So Much to Love bag. I love this giant rickrack every time. So Much to Love bag. Right there. Oh, almost got myself. And this is super cute too. This is from Little Stitch Girl. It's called My Nice List. It says you're always on my nice list. And it's Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus underneath the mistletoe. And it comes with, there's 3 colors of Classic Colorworks and 4 colors of DMC called for in this. It just comes with the Classic Colorworks. And it also comes with the called for fabric. This is a 32 count Whisper Lugana from Zweigart. And then it comes with 3 skeins of Classic Colorworks, which is Steamed Broccoli, don't tell me, Shabby Sheep, and Licorice Red. And then I also found these. These are Mill Hill Glass Seed Beads. So I don't know if you like putting beads on your projects, but I love putting beads on my projects, especially in snowflakes, because I feel like they get a little sparkly and a little fancy. And then I don't really have any Christmas. I'm not a big Christmas stitcher. So as you can tell by my one Christmas whip, pretty flower needle minder. And that is auction number 4. So a little smaller than usual, not like full-on bendy boxes. I didn't put scissors and other accoutrements with them. Just nice little kits. So same things as last week. So if you watched last week and you were like, where's the auctions? Here they are. I never put them up. Okay. And then, so that's all for the cross stitch. So all I have left is my tarot card of the day and my book. So if you're just here for the stitching, that's the end of the stitching, and I appreciate you being here. But if you're here for tarot and books, then stay, because I got some. So the deck that I'm pulling from right now is the Cozy Witch Tarot deck by Amanda Lovelace. This was a gift from my friend Anna. Anna's Books and Stitches. And I drew the 3 of Swords today. And actually the 3 of Swords, I didn't draw this. It jumped out of the deck as I was shuffling. I've never drawn the 3 of Swords from any deck except this one. So what I love, a couple of things I love about this deck is, number 1, it's totally size inclusive, it's disability inclusive, it's race inclusive, it's everything inclusive. There's not a lot of masculine energy in this deck. But the artist does kind of mix between feminine and non-binary pronouns. So there's that. And then the other thing I like about it is that all of the cards have this saying at the bottom. So underneath the 3 of Swords, it says, it's okay to cry. And then the book description is really good. Is it absurd to cry when a story comes to an end? The witch asks you between sniffles. Remember in Gilmore Girls when Lorelai kept trying to convince Rory to let herself wallow after her breakup with Dean because she knew that it would be the only way Rory would be able to fully process it? If you're experiencing a Rory-level heartbreak, then consider this card your own personal Lorelai. They say the heart heals with time, but if you don't use that time wisely, it might not. So if you have to take part in your own healing, so go get the ice cream and tissues. Make a sad playlist and listen to it on repeat until the tears run out. Keep doing it until one day it no longer hurts as much. You have other stuff to do. So my interpretation of this card is, go ahead and lean into the melancholy for a certain amount of time. Because I am very much one to lean into the melancholy, but I just don't want to stay there. So I love the blue hair. My avatar in Pokemon Go currently has blue hair. So lean into the melancholy just for a little while. So I like these cards. There's the back. They have a nice finish. It's a little bigger deck than usual. The book is nice. And when I draw cards from this deck, I think of my friend Anna. So there's that. And then the book that I finished, I already returned it. So I just finished reading a book called How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. And really good book. I recommend it. It was hard for me in the beginning because sorry about the pop-ups. It it's it was written during COVID, and you can tell. So it's about a plague that is uncovered in Siberia due to global warming, and it's told in vignettes, and it traces humanity through this plague and beyond. And it was great. I was loving it. All of the vignettes are very much about relationships between people, not always, sometimes romantic relationships, sometimes romantic on one side relationships, sometimes parent-child relationships, sometimes sibling relationships, sometimes friends. So just relationships in general, right? All different kinds of them. And I was already enjoying it. And then I got to the end, and the last vignette pulled the whole thing together. And because sometimes in the vignettes, people will run into other people, right? Like, so if person A I think the second vignette was told from person A's perspective, like the fifth vignette, person A is kind of passes through that one, but isn't a main part of it, which was super interesting to me. How Sequoia Nagamatsu wove her characters. Wove their characters all the way back through all the vignettes. But then I got to the last vignette, and that story tied everything together and made me want to go back and listen to the entire book again because of what I learned in the last story. So the last story, when I tell you that it blew my mind, the last story blew my mind. I haven't read any of the reviews. I don't read reviews. But I would recommend that book. A friend recommended it to me, and I would recommend it back to you. So I would recommend that book. And I'm currently looking for another book recommendation because I have a ton of books on hold at my library and nothing's coming through right now. So what do I have on hold right now? Let's see. Oh, The Salt Grows Heavy. I can borrow that. The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw, Khaw, is not a retelling of The Little Mermaid, but the character that first starts is the Little Mermaid, but they've taken away her teeth, so it's interesting. Anyway, the books I have on hold right now, one to read for work. It's called Leaders Eat Last. It's by Simon Sinek. I'm second in line, so that's good. Warbreaker from Brandon Sanderson. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter from Brandon Sanderson, and The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, which is incidentally for Michelle Cozy-Egg's new book club. I am not going to get The Familiar in time for the book club. My wait time on that one is 26 weeks. So I'm going to have to either buy that book on Audible or go buy it at Barnes & Noble or something. But anyway, I'm enjoying adding these little reading segments. If you want a really good reading segment, again, I will say it, go watch Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, because Julie can talk about a book and make you be like, okay, I'm going to go buy that book right now. So if you don't want to go buy books, don't watch Julie. But Julie's going to make you, if you want books that you need to buy, go watch Julie. She'll make you buy some books. But that's all I've got. So I'm going to edit this up and get it posted, get my auctions posted, do some stitching. Rosie is going to take a friend to the mall, so Wade and I will trail along behind them at a distance where we can see them, but they don't feel like we're listening to their conversations. And we're going to try to get out and do some stuff before it's 95 today. So thank you all for hanging out. If you like live stitching, I'll be live tomorrow on YouTube and Twitch at 7 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Coast time. So, yeah, thank you for hanging out, and I will see you